What's going on, people? Thank you for tuning into this fake episode of Find Your Voice. My name is Aaron, and as always, I am the host of the show. So today, I'm excited to welcome Kevin Hart onto today's episode for some lighthearted fun, mind the pun, to really bring you some incredible lessons that I feel throughout the Find Your Voice 100 and so episodes that we've already produced will hopefully hit home with you to make you not only just embrace what you're going through, whether that's the adversity or whether it's the trauma or whatever you've experienced, but to help you move forward and, of course, become your better self, to make that decision to become your better self. So without further ado, Kevin, welcome to the show.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Now, as far as I know, Kevin is a big fan of this show. No, we have reached over 50 countries. We've had over 150,000 downloads, and we have hit the charts for mental health across many countries.
Wow.
I know, right? So one of the things that I'm interested in learning about you is about your relationship with your mother and how that really kind of changed your life, because myself included, having that front row seat to witnessing the work ethic and the ability to just take on what life throws what life threw her way. I saw somebody who just battled with adversity head on. And there wasn't no fancy words or anything like strapping up or shrugging your shoulders, which you use very, very greatly in your book for that. But it was just that resilience and determination just to get going. If you wouldn't mind, if you could just maybe give us a bit of an insight in relation to your relationship with your mother as well, because I'm really interested and I think there's a really important message behind that.
I mean, God, where do you want me to start about my mom? I mean, that's my reason for the way that I move, at the level that I move, and how I move. Yeah. You know, one of the most determined and strong-willed individuals to ever walk the earth, and she was someone that just wanted to always improve. Wasn't content with just being complacent in a position because this is the position that I'm given or that I have. Mm-hmm. Was always searching for the next step. So whether it was in education, whether it was, in health, whether it was in family, it was always trying to figure out how to improve when most would be okay with just being okay. Mm-hmm. You know, we didn't live a lavish lifestyle. We didn't come from money. You know, we were poor. You know, we had enough to eat, and she put clothes on my back. But you know, that's about it. We didn't live an astronomical life. You know, and the extra money that she did have, she poured into extracurricular activities for me. So her priority was her kids.
I love that. That's incredible. So one of the other things that I wanted to ask you, Kevin, in this very short interview is about your ability to always have positive energy and to always kind of come from a place of gratitude and from a place of really trying to avoid the BS and avoid the negativity and almost using the power of your adversity and your stories, which is something that I preach so much, that every single person has power in their stories to fuel you and to write the next chapters of your life. Could you just elaborate a little bit on that, please?
Well, when you come from the bottom, yeah, and you work your way up to the place that some people refer to as the top. I mean, what do I have to be angry about? Mm-hmm. What do I have to really bitch and complain about? I really do come from nothing. So in understanding that and knowing that, the things that are supposed to act as triggers, the things that are supposed to be life-changing, threatening, altering, are just lessons. Mm-hmm. It's just education. It's stories, for lack of a better word. You got an amazing story under your belt, and I don't choose to stay in one particular paragraph of my story. It's a long story, And, you know, the life is as long as, of course, we are all given the chance for it to be, because that's something that we have no control. We only try to enhance the opportunity of longevity or success. We don't have no control. You can walk outside and something could happen, boom, and that's it. So I just have a realistic approach and understanding to that. I come from nothing, I got something. I'm appreciative of my something. I don't look at this something as if I'm supposed to have it, because that's not how it works. I'm very fortunate and blessed too.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And one of the mantras that I use is control the controllables. And that's pretty much you in a nutshell, isn't it?
That's life. I don't bitch and complain about the things that I can't change. And the things that you can change, why spend time bitching if you're going to change it?
I love that. And that kind of segues a little bit into your relationship with your father, which you were quite open and honest about in your documentary, which I thought was absolutely fantastic, by the way. I kind of binge watched that. But in that documentary, you could have come from a place of resentment or a place of negative ill feeling for almost the rest of your life. But what you've done now is you've thought, okay, those chapters are written. For the next few chapters, let's try and rewrite something. And if it works out, fantastic.
Did my father fuck up? Yeah. Did my father get himself clean and straight? Yeah. Does my father feel bad about some of the stuff that he did? Yeah. Could you still be angry at the lack of parenting that was done or the time that was spent? Yeah. But why? It doesn't change it. It doesn't change anything that happened. It doesn't make it right. You know what I mean? Like, you don't, that anger that you're giving off into that is not going to change these things. So that's energy that I feel like I can put into something else. That's energy that I feel like I can get a lot more use out of that energy that would have been negative by finding a way to say, you know what, I do forgive you and I mean that. And that life now hopefully is better for us. If it's not, I know that it's not because of me.
I love that. I love that. And like my episode 100 was about forgiveness. And it was a fact that I had to forgive that person for myself, because I wasn't going to use that now moving forward to really affect the rest of my life. And I can't explain how powerful that is. So that's really why I wanted to kind of delve into that. So thank you so much for sharing that. And one of the things I also want to acknowledge you for, and I just love about you, is your ability to recognize your surroundings and the people around you or the things that are coming your way, and just to kind of almost bat them out the park and be like, I'm not getting involved in that, if that makes sense.
I don't like putting myself in a position to easily be affected. I think life is too short. It's too short. And if you just spend time being affected all the fucking time, those are tough days, man. If you're bothered all the time, there's a lot of shit to be bothered about today. You can be bothered by a lot of shit. If you're the person that's really bothered, then how pleasant are you to be around?
I love that. And one of the other things that I wanted to talk to you about was the adversity in relation to the car crash. So I always ask my guests about one time of adversity. And for me, it was the assault. And that really kind of showed me that I wasn't in control and I needed to make better decisions. So if I'm ever in that position again, I have a little bit more control, because that's all we can do. We can only try and put ourselves and give ourselves the best opportunity for when adversity strikes, or when an opportunity strikes as well. So your car crash, if you wouldn't mind.
Well, that's when you truly realize that you're not in control. Like right now, I said that to you. That's because I really understand that. And for me, that car accident was much more than any and everybody can see. For me, that car accident, it was a reason to sit down and really process what's around me. And by what's around me, the things that only mattered. And that was my wife and my kids. You know, all of the things that I put the significant value and tremendous amount of, I'm going to call them, you put the things that come with success on a pedestal for a minute. The things that you feel you need. and the things that you feel you have to have, right? But when life hits you with a real curveball and you're in that room with four walls, none of that stuff that you thought was important or that you thought you needed is ever brought up in conversation.
So Kevin, I need to shoot off now. I know you're a busy man as well. And I just want to thank you. Thank you for taking time to come on this fake episode of Find Your Voice.
Hey man, thank you. I appreciate you.
Right, okay, so that was another fake episode of Find Your Voice. And the reason I wanted to do this is I'm not trying to fake it till I make it or do any of that sort of stuff. But sometimes when I listen to something, I feel it brings an immense amount of value. And sometimes I really want people to recognize the key points. And obviously when I'm in conversation with some of my guests, it's very difficult to be like, this is like really important. I need you to listen to this again, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, because it'll hit you at a different time. And life has a funny way of sending us messages. And if we're not receptive to that, we're going to completely miss it. Thank you. So a complete sense of gratitude and thank you goes to Tim Ferris, because Tim Ferris made this podcast and Kevin Hart. It's completely theirs. All of the nuggets and the knowledge bombs and the questions that Tim asked as well were absolutely fantastic. I'm not trying to say or do anything better than him. I was just trying to do this as a little bit of lighthearted fun, because obviously Mental Health Awareness Week is finished, but I think the lessons are important. And sometimes just sharing stuff, like I've told people to listen to these podcasts, people don't do it, but I thought if I can just try and be a little bit creative with it, maybe it'll work. So please don't come after me and tell me that I'm robbing your stuff. Listen, you guys have my complete respect for everything that you do. But more importantly, these lessons are lessons that a lot of my guests say. And I understand the difference between seeing a celebrity say something and your ordinary person like myself or like my guests. But what I will say is that you are just as powerful as these celebrities and the guests that I have on the show, and that your story matters just as much. And these are very, very simple principles. They may not be easy because life is hard. Things are complex, but they can definitely be taken on board. So hopefully you found this useful. Please do hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell, because I'm doing weekly videos to really try and help you move forward and find your voice. And of course, write your own story. Thanks for watching, guys.
And remember, this podcast is absolutely free. So all we ask in return is for you to share this with a friend and drop us a 5-star review over on iTunes. Have an awesome day.